Hello everyone, this is episode 2 of Let's Play Civ 5 Brave New World as Morocco, and I'm still here with Blastinus.
Hello again.
We have just met Casimir of Poland over here. His capital, Warsaw, is in real life. This would be where Alexandria is. And we're exploring around. You can see here he's got a settler. He's going to settle out here in the mouth of the Nile, probably. I suppose the way the river is branching, it's supposed to try and represent the Nile Delta, which they can't really do very well in like Civ 5's map mechanics.
Yeah, I mean you're doing it hexagonal, so hexagonal.
No, I just mean in terms of like what tiles are available. It's not really. I think maybe you should have more marshes around here, probably, but you can't really sort of have a sort of like there's no real sort of tile mechanics for big river deltas like that in Civ 5.
Honestly, Poland is in a pretty good spot right now. They've got an area with some gems. They've got silk over here.
Yeah,
the
Poland
Nile area
has
itself.
a lot of food on an area of the world that's often quite food poor. So I'm down here with all this wheat down here on the floodplains further up the Nile. He's gonna do okay. Now let's see, next technology we don't get. We need to start. Now I'm trying to decide how important is hooking up the luxuries versus how important it is to try and tech towards something I had in mind. I mentioned trying to get a little extra food for Marrakesh through the purposes of building wonders. And if you look here, up here at mathematics, you have the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. A wonder only available to people who took the traditions social policy tree, which we did. We opened up last episode. And so, and it gives you a lot of extra food.
I would imagine, yeah, since it is a garden.
Yeah, the Hanging Gardens. So you can see there, +6 food. Very helpful to us in our food poor situation, and I would really like to get it. So the question is, do I want to divert from going straight towards the technology that unlocks it in order to hook up the luxury resources around us? Do I want to research trapping or calendar, perhaps?
Well, I mean, trapping, I think you explained, would help us get some more ivory.
Trapping would let us hook the ivory up, yes, but it wouldn't give us extra food. Trapping calendar, well, they would give us extra happiness and extra money, but they wouldn't give us any extra food, and it would slow down our ability to get the Hanging Gardens. And you also have to remember, you're racing everyone else. You can there's only one wonder allowed on the map. Somebody else builds it first, somebody else beats you to it, you're out of luck.
And it's a lot of time wasted.
Uh-huh. Now, you do get some money back as compensation, but it's not ever worth it for the lost time.
Is it possible to do any sort of surveillance or spying in order to figure out what other people are building?
There is. Yes, but that doesn't unlock till later into the game. Right now, we can't do anything besides having a unit here in visible range of the capital. Right, see here. So you can see here, our archer has visible sight on Warsaw, and every wonder creates a little thing on the map. So you can see here, the Temple of Artemis being built right here. You can see here, there's no such thing going on in Warsaw.
Well, as far as we can see, I mean, they might be putting up something in the upper left corner,
Now,
right?
yeah, that could be right there, possibly. But as far as we can tell, he's not building any wonders in Warsaw right now.
So do we go for the wheel or do we go for the calendar?
Yes. Now, for instance, if we had started next to a river, this would be a no-brainer. We would want the wheel. But since we're not next to a river, we can't build the watermill, the unit we get from the wheel. So it creates a debate, and also we're slowing down our science considerably by doing this. Because writing is the big tech that gives you early science, you get your library and everything. We're slowing down our tech as well by doing this. So it's like, it's a big debate, and I'm not quite sure what I want to do.
Well, I mean, going
I
by
think
my
I'll go
gut, I
straight
think
for the
that,
Hanging Gardens. Made up my mind. I'm going straight for the Hanging Gardens.
yeah, that's what I would have. Yeah, that's what I would have said.
It's just we're on a very high difficulty level. The AIs get a lot of bonuses, and so they will. Wow, that's a lot of wheat. And so they have an advantage with getting to the wonders at the start of the game.
Jak ci się podoba moja oferta?
So it's
What is the advantage of setting up an embassy anyway?
an embassy. It lets you see somebody else's capital, and it's a requirement. It gives you a very slight boost in diplomatic relations, and is a requirement for more advanced stuff. So if you want to sign more advanced treaties that unlock later in the game, you have to have embassies exchanged first.
Okie dokie.
And again, like I said, it also lets you see where each other's capitals are.
So we've upgraded to level 4. Does that mean that
We have 4 population. We are now working an extra tile, yes.
Yeah. Of course, our food production has gone down because we have less of a surplus.
Yeah. Well, technically our food production has gone up. Like, the total amount of food we're producing in the city has increased. It's just we have less of a surplus now.
Yeah, good point.
So I think what I will do, actually, because the extra food that we're getting here isn't actually as helpful right now as having, I think, the extra hammers for helping build the wonder. You can see here. So I've taken the working 1 ivory onto this gems. So we're making slightly more money and getting 1 extra hammer in exchange for losing 1 food. But since we grew to population 4, you see here it's 11 turns versus 14 turns to get to the size 5. But if we do this here, we can get the wonder down from 12 turns to 11 turns by doing this. So,
and I assume this purple hex here is where the next border will pop up?
yes, that's the next border growth. And it's chosen by the city. You can't choose where that is. And your borders grow based on your culture. You have to, you accumulate culture in the city in order to expand your borders.
So this might be a bit of a no-brainer question, but do gold deposits get you more money than other sort of luxury resources?
No, they don't. You'd think they would, but they don't.
Oh, okay.
You can see here their gold base yield on the hill there. 2 hammers, 2 gold per turn. Same as silver. But it acts as a luxury resource, so you get happiness from it.
Okay.
Yeah, you'd think it would give you more money, but it doesn't. It's there you go. Yeah, and you can see here, as I told you, barbarians are turning up around the capital, which is why I sent our spearmen back there. And here we met our first city-state. City-states are minor civs. They're not trying to win the game. They'll never expand on their own. And if you ally with them, they'll join you in your wars and they'll give you bonuses.
So basically, they're
city-states.
Yeah, they're areas that the other players can attempt to expand into without it causing diplomatic incidents.
No, they can't expand into them. It's the same rules as the cities. They have borders. You can't settle inside somebody else's borders. It's just it's a minor player that's not trying to win the game. If you ally with them, you get bonuses. And you are competing with the various AIs in order to ally with the various city-states. And in order to win a diplomatic victory at the end of the game via a vote at the United Nations, you need to have lots of city-states on your side.
I assume a mercantile trait means that they're open to trade a lot more?
Mercantile means that they have, if you ally with them, mercantile means they give you extra happiness. And if you ally with them, if you become their ally, only one person can be allied with the city-state at the same time, bear in mind.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're allied with them, they will give you a luxury resource that only mercantile city-states have access to.
I get
So
it.
in this case, you have porcelain. And there's also jewelry. Jewelry is another one that they can give you. And so if you want to have porcelain, you have to ally a mercantile city-state that offers porcelain. That's the only way in the game to get it. If you go and conquer the city-state and try and take it over, you lose the porcelain. It's gone.
What? But how does that make sense? Don't they still have the ability to make porcelain?
No, it's a game balance thing.
I see. But to encourage, not just taking over every single place you come across.
Yeah. Also, if you conquer city-states, the other AIs get really mad at you. You'll take a huge diplomatic hit from the other civs in the game if you conquer city-states as well.
Well, obviously, I mean, if you're encroaching on their borders, maybe they could be next.
No, yeah, but it's just like Civ 5's diplomacy works and all of it. Okay, so yeah, and you can see here, Malacca actually has 3 different luxury resources around. It's got porcelain, sugar, and incense, and that's so. If you have none of those, you would get 12 happiness from being their ally because they give you 1 copy of every luxury that they have access to.
And in our case, we have none of these.
Yeah. So we would get 12 but also, if you ally with them, you get a bonus happiness as well. So you would end up getting somebody who has neither sugar, porcelain, or incense and allied with Malacca would end up getting about 15 happiness.
Which is, considering we have 3 right now, a pretty huge boost.
It is a gigantic boost, and normally allying with a city-state is not nearly so lucrative.
Vancouver?
So you can see here, this is the city-state of Vancouver. This is a maritime city-state. And so they give you extra food. If you ally.
Vancouver?
Yes, Vancouver.
You know what? Never mind.
Yeah. Vancouver's 1, Quebec City's 1.
This is a silly game.
Yeah, it is. Also, bear in mind, a lot of these city-states were originally others back when the game launched, but a lot of the various nations that they represented went on to become playable civs in the game.
So there isn't a playable Canada yet?
Only through mods. You have to mod them in. There's no official Canada.
That's a shame.
Wisdom and...
I mean...
Don't start! That is an argument you do not want to get into.
About Canada conquering the world?
No, you do not want to get into debates about which civs should get into the roster and which civs shouldn't. It's, especially Canada, which is one of the more contentious ones in the community.
Is there a Mexican civ?
No, there is not.
What?
The only sort of modern, post-colonial nations that have ever been included, you have America, which is in every game, and in Civ 5, in the second expansion pack, they had Brazil. Those are the only ones that have ever been included.
Also, these are more ancient civilizations?
Not necessarily ancient, but in terms of like post-colonial civilizations, those are the ones that have been included.
Well, yes, Russia is relatively newer, actually.
Yeah, compared to a lot of like nations, yes, Russia sort of as it is sort of is the sort of more of a medieval thing.
Would you be interested in a trade agreement with England?
So you accept
Damn it!
Oh, darn.
Yeah, so we just lost all the work we put into the Temple of Artemis. And you see that we got 172 gold compensation. But
I'm guessing that by your reaction, this is something that happens a lot.
yeah, over the course of playing Civ, you will get very used to this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take the money we had, I'm just going to buy a worker.
Basically, buying allows you to skip the production time.
Yes. There it is. I'll also build a shrine so we start getting faith return income.
Well, so I guess the Hanging Gardens it is then?
Well, we're certainly going to take a stab at it, because the Hanging Gardens in such a poor location like this would be so huge.
Well, I mean, the Temple of Artemis was a bit of a bust, so there's a lot of prime real estate that we're not using. So is this the southern edge of the map, like because
yes,
all the clouds aren't going away?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Normally the north and south edge of the maps in regular games are marked by the poles. And the map wraps east and west, so it's like cylindrical.
But in this case...
the map just has hard edges that don't wrap around. So we are at the easternmost edge.
Are there any civilization maps where it's the entire world?
Yes, there are. And like there's how you make your Earth maps, because trying to map an Earth map onto a sort of a cylindrical hexagonal wrap like that it doesn't map exactly, and so there is a lot of debates about Earth maps. A lot of people do different Earth maps with slightly different configurations or with different bits enlarged or shrunk for the sake of like gameplay balance and all these things. It's there are a lot of Earth maps out there with a lot of different
I see.
So I'm going to wait one turn, or maybe actually I'll finish the archer. We'll see. And then build a settler. Like while you're building a settler, your city doesn't grow at all. But once you produce a settler, you can use it to create another city.
Ooh boy, lots of people entering the classical era. Where are we right now?
We are, let's see, you can see right here. So once we discover mathematics, we will enter the classical era.
So we're a little bit behind from a few of these guys?
Oh, we're playing on a mortal difficulty. This will always be the case.
Oh no, we're trespassing.
Yeah, that means we sent our unit into city-state border. You can send your units into city-state's borders without requiring word treaty, but they get mad at you. You can't do that with other AI civilizations. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to switch over to Archer. I'm going to start building a settler. So the settler will finish just after we uncover mathematics. I accidentally went one turn too far with that.
Ooh, the Great Library.
Yes. The Great Library is incredibly powerful, but it's something you learn quickly, very quickly, to do without if you want to play Civ 5 at any sort of high level.
Because the AI will also...
The AI loves to build the Great Library. You will, if the AI wants it on these higher difficulties, the AI will beat you to it. The bonuses they start with and everything, you just learn to not do it. And that's the problem, is because the Great Library is so powerful, a lot of people who are new to the game starting in a lower difficulties, they get so used to building the Great Library, and they start to really rely on it.
And then the Great Library gets snatched away.
Yeah, don't do it.
Jak ci się podoba, moja...
Are there any other things that you can sort of expect on higher difficulties?
The AI will get very far ahead of you very quickly if you're not careful. You have to make science a much higher priority.
Jak ci się podoba, moja
Poland would
oferta?
like to be friends. Yes, we'll be friends with you, Poland.
So I assume that means that if you do betray him at all, then he's going to be super mad at you.
If you betray him while you have a declaration of friendship, it doesn't just make him extra mad, it makes everybody else on the map kind of mad at you.
Oh, I see.
You will. There is a global penalty for
Как тебе понравится,
backstabbing through a
если я
declaration of
предложу
friendship.
такой обмен?
A declaration of friendship is basically Civ 5's version of an alliance. It's not a promise of like military help or anything, but it's close as you can get with Civ 5's wonky diplomacy that they've cobbled together out of
Hong Kong?
yeah, the mess it was at the start. Arguing about Hong Kong being a city-state, that's... Don't try and say Hong Kong isn't appropriate as a city-state.
Well, no, I'm not saying it's inappropriate as a city-state, just, you know, in Africa.
Yeah. You'll... If you're in this LP a lot in the future, you're going to get used to this sort of thing.
I hope so.
Yes. Now, what we could do... We could try something very, very, very risky.
Okay, yeah, risky.
And
That's a little bit better than saying dumb.
is to rush straight now. You see here, you can see here the list of texts we could try and discover. Next, yeah?
Yeah?
See down there bottom currency?
That's going to take a while.
Yeah, but currency unlocks Petra. Petra is possibly the most powerful wonder in the game.
And you don't think they're going to try to take that away?
They do, often. But, you see, Petra is special. Petra has terrain requirements. Now, this is something you'll get very used to if you're playing Civ 6, where all wonders have terrain requirements. But here in 5, this isn't really... So, if you want to build Petra, it has to be a city on or next to a desert tile.
Mm-hmm.
And Petra, you can see here, I will hover over it, you can see the bonuses it gives you.
All desert tiles. Well then.
All desert tiles. Which, you know, as Morocco here with our Casbahs and everything, that all desert tiles that aren't floodplains, so all desert tiles not directly adjacent to a river. Gains an additional trade route slot and gives you a free caravan to use that trade route slot, plus 6 culture after archaeology. Very incredibly powerful. We cannot build it in Marrakesh. But I am about to settle another city over here, which will be in the desert. And the question is it worth it to try and go for Petra now, or to try and build Petra in the second city? Can we get enough? Can we get that second city going fast enough to actually have a shot at building Petra?
My gut tells me no.
Well, you can see here, you know, it's sort of most of the desert is over here by us and down here in Africa. I mean, notice here, Poland does not have a city next to desert because this area here is considerably, it's more like
A floodplain?
no, it's far more the north coast of Africa here is It's more like it was 3,000 or 4,000 years ago in terms of fertility than it is nowadays. Before it was had desertified so much. And so, maybe we have a shot.
Well, I mean, it is your LP.
No, it's just it's a very serious debate because Petra is so powerful that it's actually worth considering. Normally, you wouldn't even remotely go like this, but Petra is so powerful, it's worth considering. It's just. No, I think, you know what, we've delayed on it. I think what we'll have to do is we'll come back to it. If Petra is still available, we'll build it. But I think right now, writing and calendar.
Getting the culture stuff.
No, writing and calendar are what's required for philosophy, and philosophy has probably the single most important building in the game in it, the National College. Which requires having built a library in all the cities that you directly control. And it gives you plus 50% science in that city. If you want to play at a high level of Civ, you cannot let this lapse too long. It's too important. You have to get that going in a timely fashion.
Mm-hmm.
We've already delayed quite a lot. If we had, I tell you what, if I would have gone better if Marrakesh itself had been next to desert, because we've already got Marrakesh up to, you know, Marrakesh is a fairly strong city now. Our second city will not be, or will take a while to get up and running, and that's why that's what's ultimately swung the decision, and we'll go for the National College instead. The National College is so important.
Now I'm curious. For the sailing culture, is that a lot more important if you're doing something like Western Europe?
The sailing doesn't give you culture. Sailing gives you the ability to make boats, cargo ships, and workfish and everything. Gives you an extra trade route and everything. It's an important thing. We will get eventually just for the extra trade route slot, but since we have no coastal cities right now, it's completely worthless to us.
I was just thinking, like, if you were playing as, say, Great Britain, then it seems like something that you'd really want.
If you're playing as England, yeah, but that's even then. If you're England and you're starting inland, it doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You can't really pick where you start.
No. I mean, you can move your settler. You don't have to settle in place, but the AIs never do that, and most players rarely will ever move their settler.
Okay, well, let's hope the Hanging Gardens don't get sabotaged as well.
Yeah, because moving your settler requires delaying your start. That means turns that you are not making anything right at the start of the game, where making things is the most important, because all the yields are so small that any increase in yields at all is extremely significant. And you'll notice there a glimpse there, the barbarians had captured somebody's settler. Somebody sent a settler out with proper escorts, got captured by barbarians.
That's rough.
Yeah, that's why we are being careful with our settler here and keeping the spearman as a guard.
Is it possible to just, have them all move it together as a group?
No, it is not. That is a feature that is being added for Civ 6.
That seems like something that any RTS player would say should have been added day one.
Yes, this is not an RTS. This is a turn-based strategy. Civ 5 was already extremely radical for moving from a square grid to a hex grid.
The previous games used a square grid?
Yes. All Civs 1 through 4 and Civilization Revolution, the side game on consoles, all used a square grid.
That seems a little odd. Like, pretty much every war game that I know of uses a hex grid at most.
Yeah, and that was one of the big arguments. And then Civ's previous games in the series also allowed you to just pile as many units as you wanted onto the same tile.
And this one doesn't?
No, Civ 5 introduced 1 unit per tile. So you can only have 1 military unit and 1 civilian unit on a tile. That's it.
That probably adds a bit more balance since you can't just Zerg rush.
Balance, not necessarily a certain sort of change in sort of strategic approach, which a lot of people prefer, including myself. I'm one of the people that very much you'll still get like Civ 4 diehards that really think the old system is better, but
So right now you're just kind of scouting out the map in order to figure out...
yeah. And also to try and grab as many goodies as we can.
Yeah, getting bronze working, that was a pretty nice boon there.
Yeah, it was. It also, bronze working, you'll notice, reveals iron on the map. Iron is our strategic resource. So there are units out there that require iron in order to build. So you see here 6 iron. So if we settled the city and hooked up this iron over here, that would get 6 iron. That would mean we could build 6 units that require iron. And we can only have 6 units that require iron out. Otherwise, if we lose access to that iron, all units that use iron will start taking a big penalty. And you notice over here, there's a barbarian spearman. They will come in and they will pillage our wheat here. And obviously we don't have anything that Wendy to stop them, but you'll see Nick. So anyway, here we're going to put a settler right here. I think here is the best. It will have access to the horses, the gold, the oasis, the 3 sources of bison.
As soon as we get tracking, of course.
Yeah. No, but even then, the bison's still 2 food, 1 hammer. Deep base, so it's like... also yeah. So, we will settle Rabat, which is the modern-day capital of Morocco.
So we just sit down some houses and we immediately start firing.
Yeah, and there we go. Yes. That's another thing Civ 5 introduced, by the way. Cities having their own combat strength. Previously, if you didn't have a unit in a city, anybody could just walk in and take it at any time.
That's dumb.
Yeah, I really like a lot of the improvements in the music. And that's where we're going to end episode 2. So thank you for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next time.